lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the crowd. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the SCL Truck Series brought to you by Don's GMC today. We are just now starting up qualifying in an absolutely beautiful day at Michigan Speedway on the Legacy today, so it should be an absolute blast. I am James Riles, and with me in the booth is Matt Metler. Mr. Matt, how are we doing today?
Couldn't ask for a better evening tonight in primetime. As you mentioned, James, SCL from the Irish Hills of Michigan, the house that Penske built, and we're running it legacy style, which means this track is going to have multiple grooves as these tires wear. It's going to be a little bumpy, and it's certainly going to be one heck of a shootout here under the lights, or not under the lights. Well, it is here where I'm at, but sim time today, mid-afternoon. Look for these guys to really tear it up here. And strap myself in, ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely. Talking about the race info for what we've got going on as we take a look at the 05 with that Elite Motorsports taking a trip around the block. If we can get it there. It should be a very good, very beautiful day for racing. Should be a nice one. I know it is going to get, it might get under the lights right now with the time that we're in. Matt, what can you tell me about some drivers in this race that we should look out for?
Well, right off the bat, and you're looking at the scoring pylon right now, Barrett Flo, that 92, Austin Call, two very quick competitors out there on the racetrack. They're usually in it to win it every single race that I've been in so far this season. Todd Merkel, there's another name in that Ford F-150 you want to watch out for. He can definitely be fast at times, especially over the long run in that number 2. He's currently sitting 6th on the pylon. All these guys, though, that are in this race tonight, you're going to notice they're within tenths of a second of each other, usually over the course of a long green flag run. So look for this to be a very tight battle throughout the course of the race. Typically, cautions, they are far few and in between. So pit road, getting it done, the money stop has been critical. We're going to have to see how this all plays out tonight, as it looks like most of the drivers already have logged in their times.
Filling in for very big shoes today as we're getting everything working and running in the background. But watching Todd Merkel in that 05 or the 2 Ford, seems like everybody's pretty much put down their laps. But I was watching practice, and these guys were practicing running in the draft. They were practicing working together. What does that tell you about the league?
Well, that tells me that these guys understand the fundamentals of racing, number one, and they understand the importance of working together. They definitely have great racer etiquette. They have high amounts of respect from among themselves from a competitor standpoint. And these guys certainly know how to get around this racetrack, James. We continue to go through qualifying here. Let's run down the top 13 as they sit right now. Currently on the provisional pole, Barrett Flo in that first position. Second, Austin Call. There's no surprise there. Chris Myers in that 24 machine. He's currently in third. Todd Merkel, fourth. Fifth belongs to Michael Accord. Currently in sixth, Jonathan Kaysbear. Seventh belongs to Klaus Williams. In seventh, that's Chevrolet Silverado, Justin Lewis. In eighth, that's going to be, ninth, that's going to be William Mann. Rounding out your top 10 as they stand right now, that's Michael Mata. In 11th, David Hanna. Residing in 12th, Andrew Miller. 13th, Greg Burstich. 14th, Tillman Huer. And everyone else that you see currently out there right now has not either posted a time. Myself, I'll be up in the booth tonight. Usually I compete in this race. So don't worry about where my 716 truck is out there on the racetrack. You got it locked in here on SRM. I am up top in the broadcast booth tonight, getting to call this alongside my partner here, James Riles.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. We got our SCL Truck Series Michigan International. It's a 2-mile track, but it operates kind of like a super speedway. So that's why these guys practicing in the draft, practicing work together, 79 degrees. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a nice, cool day here at Michigan, especially it's overcast. A lot of folks trying to manage those tires. It'll be a little bit easier. You know, you can go flat out here for quite a while. But let's take a look at our qualifying results and see where everybody is going to line out here in this SCL Truck Series. It's the Don's Automotive 150 at Michigan. And I can tell you, we got Barrett Flo up front with a 40.43. Very respectable time there. Austin Call in second. Chris Myers going to be in third with Todd Merkel in fourth. Row 3 is going to be Michael Accord and Jonathan Casabre. Then we have Klaus Williams, Justin Lewis, row 4. Row 5 is going to be William Mann and Michael Mata. Then we have David Hanna and Andrew Miller.
Yeah, that's rounding out your top 12 there. And starting in 13th here, that's going to be the 51 of Greg Burstich. 14th, that's going to be Till Collar. In the 890 machine, that's going to be Steve Sagars. 16th, that's going to belong to the 77 machine of Joshua Yarbrough. And in 17th, the final starting position here tonight, that's going to be the 4 of Matt Kadru.
Same old, pretty much, guys. You know how to do this.
As we currently see these guys getting set out there on the starting grid. iRacing.com pace truck. Currently sitting just
Thanks
in
for
front of the
coming out again.
start-finish line.
We'll see how it looks
So we're
like.
just waiting on everyone to finish gridding up here, and we're going to get ready to roll here and bring this 2-mile oval here to life in the northern hills of Michigan, or the Irish Hills, as some like to say. If you guys are new to SRM, make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell, join the family. Come home to us for 7 days of high-octane eSIM sports racing action. You can count on it right here on SRM.
Absolutely. So here we are about to get started. Just waiting on one here, Todd Merkel and Matt Cajet, and of course Matt Metler. I see that you're in there. That's going to be a fun in-car perspective if we have to run through that. As we're gonna just waiting on them to get gridding up. They should be ready any time now. I know we're pretty far into this season, are we not, Matt?
Yeah, we're certainly. This is going to be, I believe, round 7 or 8, I believe. I can't believe it's been that long already, as these weeks tend to fly by, as you know, James. But right now, they're probably just finishing up their drivers' meeting, just going over the rules, what they expect from all the competitors before they go ahead and let that pace car there roll off. Or pace truck, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Well, since we've already done that call, let's go ahead and show our appreciation for the guys that are making this happen here at Sim Racing Media. We're going to run into an ad break while we are waiting for them to get everything sorted out, and we will be right back. Well, there you go. We appreciate those guys over there at Don's. As always, anyone that makes these races happen and supports sim racing, we definitely appreciate them. Chevy, Buick, GMC, and if you want to find yourself in a Caddy, you can head that way as well. As they are about done gridding, they will be getting underway shortly. As Matt, I believe you have the starting call.
James, I appreciate that. Well, let's get this thing ready to fire off, shall we? You watch that pace truck going to get ready to roll down here pit road. That's going to give Austin Call the button. As we got 17 competitors here tonight getting ready to go to battle on this 2-mile oval. Going to be multiple grooves, plenty of racing surface here. It's going to allow 2 and 3 wide. So I hope you folks are strapped in at home. Got yourself a beverage, some popcorn, whatever you need, because once these guys drop the green flag, you're not going to want to miss a thing. We're going to have coverage here for you, flag to flag. Currently waiting on Austin Call here to hit the restart zone. And here we go. He's going to stand on the loud pedal to climb up through the gearbox. Drag race 2 by 2 by 2 they go. As Austin and Barrett Flo currently working the bottom side of the racetrack. So you're going to stretch out single file along the bottom, the 05 and the 07 working the top side of the racetrack as we're already riding through turns 1 and 2 as we're flying now going down the backstretch.
Absolutely. These trucks are looking side by side. This is not your conventional super speedway track where you're just going to get able for both lines to get moving. You've really got to find the bottom. You're going to have to let up a while back as we take a look at the 17, the 04, and the 05. They're running side by side, but just trying to improve their position because here at Michigan, the wrecks are not going to happen the way you want them to if you're halfway through. It's not a self-cleaning track like Talladega or anything like that. These cars will ride up, especially on exit, but you got a ton of room to look around there. Just take a look at how much room these trucks have to work with if there is an issue. So you really want to put yourself in a position to be away from that lap traffic like Barrett Flo, Chris Myers, Austin Call, who I'm surprised has fallen back to third. But really want to put yourself out front, make it a non-issue for anyone trying to catch you. You don't want to give them the opportunity to try and move you.
Well, not only that, and look at the huge shot from Michael Mata he gave to that 57 truck as they were tandem draft in Talladega style there, and you can see the beneficiary there is those trucks were able to certainly make up a lot of ground working together, but you can't do that through the corner, James. You're going to have to back off that rear tailgate just a little bit if you want to make it work. Oh, as we see the 52 there, looks like, or the 57 of William Mann just getting a little snap loose there as the 16 taking a little bit of the downforce off the truck. But as you see already, these guys not wasting any time on the loud pedal here, trying to advance their positions here already while they have a fresh set of Dr. Feelgoods. Now is the best time to really, where you can jostle through the field. You feel confident inside the cockpit of that race truck as those tires are nice and fresh out there on the racetrack.
Absolutely. As we're playing games here up front, Chris Myers and Barrett Flo trading shots back and forth, and you see the 24 kind of rides Barrett a little bit higher, and just the switch ups happening right now. It's an absolute blast to race this track because you have that draft. People are putting down their fastest laps of the race right now. These tires are warmed up, they're ready to go, and it is definitely showing as they were able to trade shots there a little bit, but it looks like they've got it figured out. Austin Call, however, has got Todd Merkel on his rear end trying to make a move, but I think right now you can work better as a group. If it's not as bad as Daytona, where if you get to that quarter panel, put some air on it, hit the air brake, it's gonna kill your line. But working together is always good. It takes that edge off. If you can put your hand out the window and say, hey, let's get up there, and then we can worry about it. That is definitely what some of these drivers are thinking right now about making moves and trying to get to the front.
Yeah, well said, James. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, into just to continue on what you were saying there, you know, that allows you also to mitigate your fuel consumption too as well. You know, trucks or cars that are working together, you know, in a pack of 3 or 4, they're going to use less fuel amongst themselves as they share that drag coefficient across those vehicles versus one sole truck being out there on the racetrack. And we anticipate here long green flag runs. Certainly. Oh, someone got in the wall back there. I seen a plume of smoke. Not quite sure exactly who that was, but some unincidental contact there with the outside retaining wall. But getting back to what I was saying, certainly in a race situation like this, as we're projecting long green flag runs, that little extra bit of fuel in the tank can make the difference of having to come to quick stop with 1 or 2 laps to go versus being the first truck across that finish line here at the end.
Absolutely. As we saw the 17, that was Michael Accord, kind of got into the wall. Let's take a look back at that replay and where that happened. Michael Accord and Justin Willie Mann right here. That could have been bad. I'll be darned. 57 William Mann, though, was able to make it up through all of that, but that was quite the show. As up front, the battle's still on. Chris Myers and Barrett Flo, they know their trucks are fast. They've still got a gap. They don't have to worry about the guys behind them about a second back. They're going to go to war.
Yeah, absolutely. Barrett Flo and Chris Myers, no strangers to competing against each other in any of the SCL series. These guys run more than just trucks. They have the next-gen cars. They got they also have the modifieds as well that they run. And these two competitors right here, they are often find themselves duking it out, as you're seeing here right now. At 24, Chris Myers, he's currently running the low side of the racetrack. That's going to be the shortest distance around this 2-mile oval, the house that Penske built. But as those tires start to wear a little bit, where that 92 is running up top shelf where Mama hides the cookies, you're going to be able to retain more of that momentum up top. That's to give you some more speed down the straightaways as those good years continue to wear.
Absolutely, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a little bit of a slide job. They're going to go to the bottom, get the advantage, and then naturally work up. The banking here in Michigan, it's conducive to that, but you really got to make your move before you hit that exit because it flattens out real quick, and that can definitely upset these trucks the further we go on, as they are still trading shots here. Barrett Flo and Chris Myers absolutely just trading shots, figuring each other out, and still, while they're doing this, Austin Call and Todd Merkel are on their way. A little bit farther back, William Mann is trying to work on Klaus Williams. Then we have Michael Accord and Justin Lewis trying to get through their issues that they had earlier in the wall, as well as Jonathan Casabre is in the mix there as well. Greg Birch and Michael Mata are still trying to figure out their lot in life, the 15 and the 51, this is where you have to worry. If you're in the back and you are a faster car, you've really got to worry about how you pass people. So this is where a lot of skill you find is getting to the front, and that's what these guys are going to have to work on. As Greg Bursch is there, Tillman Hauer as well, Joshua Yarborough in the 14. Oh, as we were watching it, they're wrecking.
Yeah. The 15 goes space shuttle status, just as you were saying, James, about being patient, taking your time through the field. The 51 and the 17 in an epic chain of events that just uncorked here at Michigan, is both trucks are heavily damaged. And I'm not kidding you when I said that 15 or the 17 went space shuttle status. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, that started up front there with the 51. Let's take a look. Slide job gone wrong. 100%. 50 to 16. Yep, there it goes. Gets drop kicked.
Looked like Pat McAfee putting a football, unfortunately.
And then if you have young children, tell them to look away. That's how baby trucks are made. There with the 16 and the 51.
You know, and that's the other thing, James, just as you were what you were talking about, and where I was going to lead on from there is you have to take your time here at this racetrack, especially if you have a fast truck, like you were saying, moving from the back. Race the racetrack, don't race yourself and put yourself in these types of situations where you find yourself on the wrong side of the coin here. Unfortunately, the 51, he's going to have a fast repair. He's definitely going to have to make good use of that here. But if you're going to make a mistake, get it out of the way early. Gives you plenty of time to rebound, get yourself reset, refocused in that race truck, as we see wholesale pit stops currently going on pit road. As we're currently working lap 11 already.
Absolutely, as everybody's trying to, looks like fuel only for everyone. Chris Myers lost some time there. He was up front, and he elected to take tires himself. Tillman Hauer, Klaus Williams electing to get a couple extra Goodyears, a couple extra sticky on those, and I don't blame him. 24, Chris was up there with Barrett Flo, absolutely wearing the tires down. So the second he saw that they weren't jacking that right side up, now we've got the battle of the brains. He's going to have to work through these cars. He's going to have to do it right and get up to Barrett Flo. But if we have a yellow flag run right here, look at Chris Myers to pretty much run away with it until green flag stops start happening.
Yeah, you're. I couldn't have said it better myself. You're absolutely right there, James. And that's kind of the problem, right? When you find yourself up front like Barrett Flo and Austin Call, we're just duking it out, trading punches. You know, not only does that put a substantial amount of wear on your tires, like you mentioned, that also allows competitors in race trucks further back in the field that are running or that are working single file, allowing them to utilize the draft and run the lead trucks down. Racing side by side versus trucks in a single file or in a tandem, you're not going to be able to have that speed, and that's going to allow the rest of the field to close in on you quick and in a hurry. So you have to try to remember that as a race competitor as well, especially here at a track like Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look at some of the lap times, Barrett Flo, Austin Call, these guys were up near each other at every step of the way. So we're looking at these folks to, as we take a look, let's take a look at our best lap times up in the top. Let me get that adjusted for you. We do everything in-house. It's if you didn't know. 40.5, 40.6 as opposed to some of their best, 40.66. Austin Call doesn't even really have the best laps. He just was consistent. And then 40.49, that Barrett Flo car. He can step away from this if he's got a lot of cars in between him that weren't even touching him on lap times. But everyone else is going to have their work cut out for him because they're all running about the same time. So they're all on an even playing field, so to speak, other than that 92 of Barrett Flo, as he is going to have an opportunity to just go absolutely wild and put as much space between himself and Chris Myers as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be his main objective here, as we watch that iRacing.com pace truck pull back down pit road. Barrett Flo is going to have the button, and he's going to go ahead and smash that loud pedal through the floorboard as those Goodyear Eagles dig into the asphalt here as they come up through the gearbox. That 92 is going to get a great restart, but closing in close proximity there. Look for that Chevrolet of Austin call here to get some help back from there from that Todd Merkel in that Ford F-150. Get a little bit of an air shove right up to the back of that 92 as you currently see that 18 starting to track him down right now as we speak.
That's gonna be a caution. Chris Myers got in the wall. Something happened on that restart, and Chris Myers.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was a equipment malfunction. Usually when that happens, driver needs to take a break for a second.
Yeah, equipment malfunction at probably the worst time possible as the field is re-racked, restacked, just starting to come back up to speed, and whammo, literally.
Oh, that was a money shift. Was that a money shift?
It looked like it, the way that truck reacted.
Listen in here. That engine just lost power. That was absolutely wild. It didn't blow up. It just lost power.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen that before, James, where a motor just kind of loses power like that. Typically in iRacing, as you know, at a restart, obviously money shifting, throwing that tachometer up into the heavens will certainly cause, that type of a problem. But you're right. It just sounds like that engine just went south there, and at the worst time possible.
Let's see if Chris Myers, well, Chris isn't in the Discord, it seems. Yeah, that was one of the oddest things I've ever seen, because that did not look like an equipment malfunction. Usually someone will lock it up, and if they're having issues with the sim side of things, but that looked mechanical.
Or I wonder maybe if he accidentally hit the kill switch on his button box, perhaps. Of course, I'm just speculating here. You wouldn't expect, someone, at this level and this caliber to make a mistake like that. But it definitely wasn't a money shift. And you're right. You could hear it in the engine tone there. Just really not sure what happened there. And
I'll be damned if it doesn't sound like he lost fuel.
It was just like hesitating, or something was amiss, and for sure inside that engine, that V8 was not happy. We know that for certain.
We're gonna listen to it one more time. Everybody's pitting, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. We're gonna crank it up. It stays running. The engine stays running. I mean, and he was in the turn, but anyways, we'll let that one go. Come back to it later, and if we can get Chris Myers in here, we'll try and figure out what happened for you. But I call races just about once or twice a week, and I don't think I've ever seen something like that. Pedals locked up. SCL Racing, pedals locked up on the 24.
Josh, what's in the file?
Well, that would make sense. Glad we have some insight there from the driver that was piloting that race truck. But James, like you were saying, I've never seen anything like that. Well, that would absolutely make sense, as obviously you couldn't feed any throttle to the accelerator. Just, unfortunate, it happened right there on the restart. If that was out there at pace speed, easily, probably, well, I shouldn't say easily, but more have likely been able to get out of the way and, able to get down to the inside of the racetrack and troubleshoot that. But it just happens to happen right there on the restart where everyone's in close proximity.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be starting single file here because the race, that yellow happened without going one lap green. So usually leagues will be set up, or if they don't go one lap, they're going to rack them up single file. Because usually it's not something like that. But Chris Myers is out. He's out on the track. He's going to have an opportunity. He's a couple laps down, but he should have an opportunity here shortly to get things going as we see, kind of the old dirt track restart. The 18 is going to stay as high as possible, make sure no one can jump him. And they're going to be getting ready as Austin Call is going to have the button. And I'd like to say, there he goes. He almost looks like he's on different fuel than everybody else. He gets just absolutely gone, which is not normal for a super speedway. He is working this restart. But luckily, the single file kind of making it a little easier restart. Todd Merkel's a lot closer than he was last time, Matt.
Yeah, that's for sure, and that's one of the benefits when you're in P2, P3 with these single file restarts. Getting the benefit of that draft as you see Merkel paying a bead on the tailgate of Austin Call as he's getting a huge run here as you see him just mirroring his line here through the 3-4 complex. 17's creeping into the picture as well of Michael Accord. He's another name you have to watch. And in tow with the 17 is also the 57 of William Mann.
Absolutely. 4 drivers that can make it happen, but they did not take tires again. They came down and elected not to take, well, that was still the 11th lap, I'm sorry. So look at Tillman Hauer in that 14 machine. He's going to have a little bit of advantage on everybody else because he can run a little bit faster through these turns. Him and Klaus Williams in the 04 elected to come down and take tires. So they are going to be working that advantage. If you want to do that, though, these drivers that took tires over those that didn't, you have to use that advantage very early because these tires are going to plateau off. Everyone's going to be pretty much on the level playing field here shortly as the 57 and the 17 trading a little bit of paint in an area where they really don't need to. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's one part of the racetrack there where you don't want to get, like you mentioned, dirt track style racing. You don't want to do that at 193 miles an hour with, trucks in close proximity, and they're still duking it out as they refuse to gild one another. As at 57 right now is going for broke. He's going to get some help from the 14, though. As they see one truck out there blinking on the racetrack, that's going to be the 17 coming back into the picture of Michael Accord. Oh, look at the run here. Look at the run here by the 92 machine. He's going to take it all the way down to the flats. That's a legal pass here. This isn't a plate track. I know it kind of races like a plate track, but that's a legal move as he's going to get a heck of a run, and they are 2 by 2 down on the inside of the racetrack. That 92 machine eating on the inside, working the bottom.
That's another one. He is as there's contact. 2 accidents happening simultaneously. The 90. 20. Gosh, bless the 24 involved in another one. You hate it for him.
Yeah, my heart breaks up here as we speak, and sometimes every driver has that race, right, James? It just seems like you're the magnet, and if something's going to pop up, either you're going to be in it or you're going to be in very close to vicinity to it. And it looks like they were just carrying too much momentum there, and as you mentioned, this track is, not self-cleansing in a sense, and that just carried them right up to the outside wall. And here we go. Once again, that 24 machine, Chris Myers involved again, is, big-time competitors in this league. Ones to watch that usually are up there contending for the wins are once again caught up in some on-track mayhem. Is that iRacing.com Paysbrook once again is leading the field here under that 55-mile-an-hour pace speed.
That was just 2 accidents. Oh man, the 07 got. That was 2 accidents that happened simultaneously. So very odd one there. Michael Accord was not involved, but I would say that's good for Chris Myers, but he's not going to get the lucky dog. You have to be clean on whatever caused the caution, which means you have to get a 0x. Otherwise, you are not eligible for the lucky dog. So very unfortunate there for Chris Myers.
Yeah, and I mean, James, if that was the case, if you could be in the lucky dog position and be the one out there to cause the caution, there'd be a lot more drivers out there handing out dirty deeds, doing them dirt cheap, if you will. But like as you said, you can't have any type of a contact multiplier in order to be eligible for that lucky dog, and because of that, Chris Meyer here is going to be on the outside looking in, at least this time.
Yeah, as it looks like Barrett Flo is going to be the driver that gets the wave around, put him on the lead lap yet again. So Austin Call is going to have an opportunity to do it again, try again. He's going to have to work extra hard here to try and shake Todd Merkel, but he'll have another run. And I tell you, if we take a look, I want to take a look at this restart one more time. Here we go, and just it's like everybody else was sleeping here.
Yeah, getting caught on the snooze button, if you will. Sometimes that happens, you know, especially when you kind of get out of sequence as a driver, James. You know, these back-to-back cautions right here. You know, this is a very rhythmic racetrack, and as a driver, you know, when you break that cycle, and then you have a couple freak cautions back-to-back, that kind of throws you out of your rhythm. You gotta get refocused, re-energized, and the best way to do that is a solid green flag run, which oftentimes they say, though, cautions breed cautions, and that's currently the case right now here at Michigan International Speedway.
Absolutely, and Austin Call, Todd Merkel have not taken tires, so those are out there on cycling up, as they say, so they're still getting laps, but when is it time to come in? I mean, Tillman Howers came in, Klaus Williams came in for tires as well. Michael Mata, who came in on lap 10, he was involved in that incident, came in for 2 minutes and 33 seconds. He's already back on the lead lap. He was appreciating all the yellows. He's going to have an opportunity here. But William Mann was up front in that 57. He just took tires. And it looks like everyone else in here has taken tires. So that's the call we have right now. That's what we have to talk about. So tires definitely going to be important.
Well, on the other side of that too, James, yeah, it's great to go down pit road and grab a fresh set of Dr. Feelgoods. The problem there is when the waste wears on, you have to be mindful of that as a driver and not abuse your equipment as much, because you're at a tire deficit where all these other drivers that elected to stay out, yeah, they'll give up some performance now, but if we have a similar situation later on in the race where they can come down, put 4 Dr. Feelgoods on, relevant to other people being out there on the racetrack with 10, 15 lap older tires, that's going to give them the advantage.
You guys probably have to go though.
So we watch that iRacing.com pace truck pull off once again. That means we're going to go back to green flag racing here, out here at Michigan, at that 18 machine. Once again, Austin Call is going to get a magnificent restart as he climbs up through the gearbox just off the back tailgate of that truck. The 2 and the 14, Todd Merkel and Tillman Hiller, they are going to be door to door going at it. Is that 14 machine working the middle of the racetrack. Now as you watch here, Klaus Williams here is going to get a run, going to come up and give the 14 a massive bump draft right down the back. That should help him get by the 2 of Austin Call there, working the top side. Is there 3 wide behind him?
Oh,
the 16 and the 4.
William Mann still having to save it. Something is up with that truck. He was drifting. I don't know if he lost a tire or something, because he was absolutely in a spot. But up front, Todd Merkel, he has the 16 of Michael Mata. Came back from adversity to try and come up here and challenge for a top 5. And he's looking to split the 4 and the 14. But he's going to have to pick somebody to run with, because Austin Call just wants to get away at this point. He's not been able to shake the draft, and looking like right now the 04 of Klaus Williams, who has not been in the picture all day. Tillman Hauer has not been in the picture all day, but they have made their way up here and they are making moves. As there goes Klaus Williams, the 18 went down to block, gets to that outside quarter panel. He's going to have it, but big crash in the back.
All right, Klaus, we gotta go all the way.
Yeah, massive pileup, James. You're not wrong. It looks like 1, 2, 3. Multiple trucks involved as yet again, as the racing up front was just getting good. Caution falls once again out here on the racetrack. This is not what I expected to see, to be quite honest with you, especially this early in this race. Typically these guys here in SCL, they'll go, 30, 40, 50 laps without a caution at times. but that doesn't seem to be the case here tonight as we're working lap 27, and I believe this is the 4th caution of the day so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at the little bit better of a replay to see where this kind of started. And it looks like the 16 just didn't realize he was trying to work that bottom. They get together right after the flag stand, and then they drag the 890 of Steve Seggers into it.
They just kind of had nowhere to go.
I think at the end of this race, it is not going to be a matter of who is right. It's going to be a matter of who is left. As these drivers have worked their fast repairs, they've been pretty busy in the pits trying to get these trucks back up and running. And we are only in lap 28 of 75. Let's go ahead and take an ad break, Matt. As we are back here on lap 30 of 75, currently working under caution after an incident. And that's a lot of what you're going to see here at Michigan. These issues are going to be with the virtual spotters trying to clear when they are not clear. So definitely got to be on your toes. You got to know that no one's going to give any room here, especially with the tight points battle we have here. Austin Call currently leading in points with a Ryan Grob, who is not here. Chris Myers, another one who is up there. But I tell you what, if you're Barrett Flo, Todd Merkel, Andrew McKenzie, they're about 40 laps back in this race, or 40 points back in this points race, I should say, for the season. And with Chris Myers having issues, as well as Austin Call falling back there, this is your opportunity to get some points as we are under green flag here one last time, or one more time, not one last time for sure. Once this truck hits that pace road, 04 Claus Williams is going to have the ability to get rocking here. Let's go on board and turn it up with Andrew Miller. All right, we are back here. That Turn It Up, brought to you, of course, by Don's Auto Group. We appreciate the heck out of them as a sponsor. Don's Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Hummer. If you want to go get a Hummer, those new Hummer EVs are looking absolutely wild. The things you can do in those machines, I tell you what, if you need to end of the world something and you got the solar set up, that Hummer EV will last you a lot longer than anything else. So go ahead on over there. You can also get you a Chevrolet, of course, Buick, GMC, the old classics. That phone number, of course, 417-337-3010. Don's Auto Group. They're in what? I'm going to mess this up so bad. Wauseon, Ohio.
I think you handled that pretty good, James. You know, you mentioned the new Hummer EV. One thing it's supposed to do under normal operating conditions, that is crab walking. You don't have to snap a toe link or break an axle to crab walk in that, often like we see in iRacing. It's one of the cool new features of that Hummer EV. As we go back up front here, no surprise, the 92 in the 04 back to just slugging it out. An old-fashioned dogfight here at the point. Is Klaus Williams in that 04 camo truck. He's working the top side of the racetrack, kind of where he's been, you know, running pretty much since the start of this race. The 92, Barrett Flo, he's running the bottom. He's going to come up there to block that run. And I think that's been, you know, part of the problem out here on the racetrack, James, with those cautions. Just I think some of these runs are coming and are happening faster than some of these drivers anticipate. And by the time you have a chance to react, everyone racing in such close proximity, if you slip just a little bit, you're taking somebody with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a little bit of a 3-wide battle, 4-wide battle that we're switching up, and that's something that you got to be aware of. Now, everybody's pretty much on the same tire strategy except Klaus Williams. He has some old tires. He last came in lap 11 to take tires. So, but Barrett Flo, he got new ones lap 28 not too long ago. So that's something that the 92 has to realize, that he can start gapping out Klaus Williams on those newer tires. And but Austin Call's not too far back there. We saw him up front. We saw him that he could do some work once he gets there, but now he's gonna have to work by a Klaus. As I believe now that those tires are up to speed, they're not gonna be holding up to this onslaught that he's about to face.
Now, I'll second you on that one, James. And you mentioned Austin Call. He's currently running in that third position right now. Back one spot from where he started, but he's not going to be back there much longer. As you mentioned, the tire deficit there in that 04 machine. Austin's really starting to work the back of that race truck. He's going to try to size them up here as they enter the turns 3 and 4 complex here. He's going to mirror his line, you know, try to maybe come down a half a lane there, get some clean air on the nose of that on that Chevrolet Silverado. Try to maybe work together with him, help the 04 and pull the 18 right up there to the back of the 92 and Barrett Flo, and that's kind of what they're doing. Now take it to the bottom of the racetrack, turn it down low. Hopefully he can make it stick as he does on that 04, just on some older Goodyear Eagles right now. That's going to allow that 18 to rotate the center of the corner, get on the accelerator just a little bit sooner here as they're drag racing going down the backstretch.
Yeah, as we take a look, I'm going to take a look from the helicopter, the chopper view. This almost got the 18 in trouble earlier. What he's trying to do, and when we saw him door banging with the other vehicle that he was racing with earlier, he's trying to side draft. So he's trying to get up there and put some air on that very large rear spoiler. And the reason you do that is because that pushes the rear of the truck down, slows it down. You essentially put a parachute, because the air that goes over your truck lands right on their spoiler, so it kind of slows them down. But that can go sideways in these trucks because they're so flat on the edges, and that disturbance of that air to the side is so great that could actually push you into the car that you're trying to side draft. And it is not a pretty sight, especially if those tires get together. iRacing has recently gotten real heavy on that, where if those tires touch, it is almost impossible to save those wrecks that are going to happen. But Austin Call, now he's to the back of Barrett Flo. Similar strategies, actually. Let me double check here. No, Barrett Flo is on old tires as well.
Yeah, Barrett Flo is on old tires there as well. 18 of Austin Call he's on some fresher tires there, and it certainly looks to be the case out there on the racetrack as he's virtually ran him down. But James, catching somebody and passing somebody, especially like you mentioned, you're talking about the aero coefficient here that's in place with this current package on this truck. Catching him is one thing, successfully passing them is another. And Austin Call is going to want to take his time here as he is all over the back bumper of Barrett Flo. You want to take your time here because you've seen what happens before. If you're impatient, you try to just execute a little too soon, you find yourself facing the wrong way out there on the racing surface.
Absolutely. As we take a look a little bit farther back, Jonathan Casabre, Jonathan, not Jonathan. Come on now. They are racing with that Playboy 77, Joshua Yarborough's machine. He's up 12 laps, Joshua is. And this is one of the most Toyota heavy fields I have ever seen as they are battling. They've been side by side the whole time, just trading shots. A little farther back, William Megg and Michael Accord are out there battling. Looks like Chris Myers is back as well. Chris Myers in that 24 machine. His machine is ready to rock and roll. I think he is 1 lap down, so he's hoping maybe something can happen between these guys. But I tell you where it's going to happen. It's going to be this 02 and this 77. They are trying to work through the field, work those new tires, and they are battling the whole way up there. But you were talking about making the pass, and it's hard here. The thing about Michigan is you've got so many lanes. You can really throw a slide job that it's the longest taking slide job you'll ever see, but you can do it here at Michigan. It's like a 6-second maneuver, but I'll be darned if you can't come in 3, get real low, and then pop out and kind of cut off the clean air that leader's going to get. But you got to time it right. You got to test it out. We'll see him start testing that, and he's going to get real close, and then he'll back off. That's what most of these drivers will do. They'll try and kind of see when they want to brake, how they want to do it, and how they want to get under them. So look for some jabs being thrown here, little testing jabs. Case beer.
Case of beer while you're out there testing. For every time you run a test, have a beer just to add a little bit more excitement to your sim racing action, at least from the cockpit, the driver's perspective. But, you know, Todd Merkel, that's a driver there who's never really content just out there running. He's one of the more aggressive drivers, I think, in this league. You know what? And his finishes are indicative of that. He understands the level of competition that's out here. He also understands the strategy side and the mechanical side of these race trucks. Like you said, the 77 as well in Joshua Yarborough there. They spent a lot of time battling it out. And I just wonder maybe if they hurt the right rear on those Goodyear Eagles just a little bit. You start to see them separate now. Probably the biggest gap they've had between those two since we went back to the green flag.
Yeah, and they're kind of working, getting into that dirty air that the leaders are throwing out about a half-second back. Let's take a look at lap time history between Merkel and Yarborough. Yarborough there is a little bit quicker just about every lap except for lap 43. But if we take a look at Call versus Yarborough, Call is also kind of gapping out there, and that's one reason why he wouldn't really want to test with Barrett Flo. He knows he's got him beat on tires. He knows that he can go a little bit longer here. But now what we're also going to start seeing, they came in at lap 28. Are we going to see a short bit here?
We absolutely could, and that's something that Todd Merkel likes to deploy.
We'll get Matt figured out here. Barrett Flo going to take the lead. Austin Call still back there, still waiting in the wings. And just as we talked about this battle being over, Joshua Yarborough and Todd Merkel are now side by side. Todd thinking he's going to, he says, I can lead this group faster. I can do a little bit better than you. And he's going to try and work that inside line just enough. Try not to get too far up and get that side draft as we have Klaus Williams there in 5th. Jonathan Casebeer there in 6th. David Hanna running +4 positions on his starting in the 2nd Toyota in position on field. Tillman Hauer at 14 Chevrolet. He's been in and out of a lot of issues, but luckily he is up there running top 10 with William Mann, Michael Accord. Chris Boss, Justin Lewis, and Chris Myers, who's sitting currently in the lucky dog spot, not battling anybody for it. fighting right now. Andrew Miller out there just trying to put down laps. Michael Mata and Steve Cigars are out of the race. So do I got you back, Matt? I do not. No worries. So Barrett Flo, and I appreciate the kind words there, John. If you could, while we're talking about it, if you're liking the coverage, we have coverage 7 days a week, just about whatever you can ask for. We've got it here on Sim Racing Media, so be sure and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a dime, and what that does is it gets more people in from the street to watch the show. We don't make a dime on it, but it tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, these guys, people are liking it, they're interacting, so be sure to comment who you're watching and hit that like button. If you feel so inclined, you can also subscribe. Get those bell notifications on, and we will blow up your phone, because I tell you, we are live right now 6 nights a week consistently, and we like to keep Saturday for the boys, but we are ready to be your racing destination if you want to see some guys and support some of these local businesses, such as Don's Auto Group, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, and of course Hummer now. So that is an absolute, I got to get in one of those cars. But of course, give them a call if you're in Wasan, Ohio. Probably butchered that. But they can also, if you see something you like on their website, they'll work with you. If you're not in that Ohio area, they'll work on you to get that car shipped. I know there's a lot of issues with these EVs and the things where you can't get a good deal at your local shop. Excuse me, you can't get a good deal at your local shop, or they don't have exactly the trim that you're looking for in your car. Check these guys out. Some of these smaller markets, you can call them and they might have exactly what you want, and they'll be willing to deal with you and get it shipped to your dealership and maybe save you a little bit in the long run. So holler at them over there at Don Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Hummer. Of course, their phone number is there, and you can just Google Don Chevy, Buick, GMC, and they will get you there. As Austin Call, Todd Merkel. Whoa, Barrett Flo's in the grass, electing to come down pit road. So the short pit strategy starting. Barrett Flo, Claus Williams electing to come down with Michael Accord. So what the short pit is, these guys are going to come down. This is their window where it's their time where they can come get some tires and fuel. They're going to come in, then try and come out and run some faster lap times. They were running about 40.66 is the best of Austin Call, as opposed to 42.15. So about a second and a half gap that these drivers are going to be able to make up every single lap that they stay out. But we'll see if Austin Call got the message, if his spotter's telling him to come in. Yep, there it is. He is not going to get beat by a short pit. He says, all right, you got the first strike, but I'm going to come in and get a better opportunity here. As Barrett Flo right sides only, Michael Accord right sides only, and they are back out racing. So short pit, as it stands right now, Barrett Flo is in the lead with a slight advantage, but that was a smart move by Austin Call to go ahead and come down pit road. It seemed like he entered pretty clean. So he is not going to get beat in the pits today, Matt.
No, he's certainly not going to get beat in the pits today, as I'm currently still coming back into the session as we're currently going through what sounds like a round of green flag pit stops here.
Yeah, absolutely. So green flag pit stops, Austin Call pretty much playing catch up, but Todd Merkel, your effective race leader in the 2 machine, possibly hoping for some calamity, as he is going to keep turning down laps. You think he can probably get a little bit, he's probably good on fuel. This round of stops was probably not made because everyone was on E. They're trying to get down there and get some tires, and Barrett Flo pretty much led the charge. He was not gonna, he had to try something, so he comes down, gets the short pit to kind of make up that speed. But unfortunately, or Austin Call did, I'm sorry, but Barrett Flo did. But Austin out front still. Didn't work out for him, but that's something that these guys are definitely thinking about. Barrett Flo, Austin Call, as Todd Merkel stays out. Another lap as David Hanna and Tillman Hauer come in.
Yeah, well, I believe Todd Merkel there, I believe he was kind of off sequence relevant to the leaders up near the front of the field, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, Todd Merkel's also one of those drivers that's really good managing his equipment, managing those Dr. Feelgoods over the long run. as you currently see Todd Merkel out there up 3 positions from where he started in that number 2 Ford F-150 leading the field. But eventually, like James, like you were saying, if this stays under green flag conditions, I mean, that fuel in that cell is not going to last forever, and those tires will start to fade. So eventually, if this remains green, Todd Merkel's going to have to come down pit road at 50 miles an hour, and that will presumably give the lead back to Austin Caldwell as they run right now if we stay under green flag conditions.
Absolutely. So Barrett Flow was the first one to strike, but let's take a look at how he entered pit lane and kind of what the issue was here. This is on lap 50. I believe he just didn't have a really good entry. Oh, there was contact between the 18.
Well, that'll certainly disrupt the flow of your pit stop.
So let's see here as they're coming down the backstretch. We're watching the 92 of Barrett Flow, who was leading the race. And, just gets a little bit of contact. And that slowed him down enough. And that actually gave him... He said, you know what? If I'm off pace anyways, I might as well come down pit road. But, boy, that cost him a ton of time. And it's showing right now as he is 2 seconds behind Austin Call right now. And he has a little bit extra motivation to get back up there, that's for sure.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is sometimes jar these drivers just a little bit, see in red, if you will, out the windshield of that race car. And sometimes that helps them grab that extra gear, and you'll see them charge up through the field. And we're just going to have to keep an eye here on Barrett Flow. But like you said, James, 2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot of time, but at 90 miles an hour, that is an eternity. That is more, that's a couple football fields at minimum. As we can see now, Todd Merkel, currently has a 36-second advantage right now over the second place of Austin Call right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As there's a couple more battles on field. Chris Meyer is out. He's going to have to come down pit road. He was hoping on a caution to get his lap back. Michael Accord battling with Joshua Yarborough. So there is a couple opportunities. Usually with this kind of car count and how large Michigan is, it's 2 mile. It's a very wide track. It's very easy to spin and no one's around. And if a tree falls in the wood, they're not going to throw the yellow. So these guys, now you're playing that game where you really cannot hope for a yellow because of the way everyone's all spread out. If a tow happens before another, if there's not another vehicle approaching, iRacing won't throw that flag. So you've got to be very careful with pinning your hopes, pinning your strategy on a caution right here, because Todd Merkel, he's still out there. He's got about 30 laps, and that is probably about tapped out there for him in that truck. He's got to be, the crew chief's telling him, hey, you got to come in. And unfortunately, because if there is no yellow before I stop talking, he is going to be in trouble once he gets back out there after the green flag stop. As, of course, brought to you, we are today by Don's Chevy Buick GMC and Hummer. Guys, Hummers are back. So be sure and hit them up. Like I said, even if you're not in the Ohio area, they can make something happen. Maybe give you a better deal. Tell them you saw them here on Sim Racing Media. They might say, wow, this advertising is really working. Give you a really good deal on a car. Get it shipped to your dealer. And if you're in a market that is really high, it could save you money for sure if you holler at them and get that car shipped to you. 9 times out of 10, you can save money going from a smaller market to a much larger market like that. So Barrett Flow and Claus Williams now battling it out for third, as Barrett is closed the distance to Austin Call. It's only a 0.6 second gap now. Todd Merkel still your effective race leader. We haven't forgot about him. He is out there hoping that these guys catch each other and just go to fisticuffs, because he is definite. I didn't do the math. I don't know if he's definitely not going to make it, but I don't think it's even going to be close. As Austin Call, Barrett Flow, and Claus Williams now all in battle, as Claus is going to catch Barrett. Now, here's a situation that Klaus is going to find himself in. If he's a little bit faster than Barrett, will he stay behind and give the bumper to Barrett Flo to help them both get up to Austin Call, or is he going to try and make the pass as he works to the inside here? He's going to try and make the pass as the 18's trying to break up the draft. A little bit of a Pocono spin there as he tries to get to the bottom of the track, and that's what's going to kill him. He's got to manage that draft behind him, and he wants these guys to fight, but Barrett Flo knows better. 14 laps left to go. He's going to back off, get behind Klaus Williams, and try and make it up to Austin Call. Let's keep an eye on Austin and how he manages this draft.
Yeah, they're almost in a situation here, James, where with Todd Merkel having a 30-second advantage, those three trucks would certainly, if they ran nose to tail in the draft, would certainly have, would certainly be turning faster lap times relevant to that truck that's in P1 right now. But, to the point you were saying, I just don't see how Todd Merkel makes it on fuel. Yeah, he has enough of a lead where he could potentially run at half throttle around this racetrack, but he would be giving up substantial time, to Austin Call, Klaus Williams, and Barrett Flo here, as we can see him, as we continue to watch these guys mix it up. The 04 kind of took a second there, hit the reset button, and now is re-engaged in this battle here as he is all over the back of the 18. He's going to get him loose coming off the corner as he steals the air off that back spoiler. That's going to give the 04 a nice run as they go down the backstretch as they're charging down to the 3-4 complex. Oh, the 04 is going to slide up just a little bit. Here comes the 18 side drafting, trying to deploy the air brake, which we've seen him do multiple times throughout this race. And just like that, that's going to allow Barrett Flo to creep back into the picture.
Absolutely. What you saw there, he got that air off that rear spoiler, and it's so important on these long tracks where they're dependent on that aero to keep that bottom squatted. When he did that, he kind of took the air off the spoiler, removed that downforce once they came into the transition to the flat banking, and got the 18 loose. So now, hey, he couldn't make the pass, unfortunately. So now Austin Call's got a little bit better idea of how this pass can be made. But I tell you who also saw all of that through the front windshield, Barrett Flo, and he is waiting in the wings for these guys. Todd Merkel still hasn't, he's still not done. He's got a 30-second lead with 11 laps to go. Don't really see him saving a terrible amount as we're in the cockpit view of the number 2 Todd Merkel here.
Yeah, James, you're right. He is definitely doesn't seem to be in fuel conservation mode here, and that gap out there on the racetrack is also reflecting that, is it's still hovering around the 30-second mark, while the 18 here in the 08 just continued to be an all-out assault as the 04 now works up to the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Got up in the loose stuff there. That's going to allow Barrett Flo here to get a big run as he's going to suck up to the back of the 18, and the 18 is going to tow the 92 right on by and potentially drop Klaus back to all the way back here to the 5th position. And just like that, as you were saying, as the 92 was playing the Predator there, just watching these two duke it out waiting there in the catbird seat. When he got up into the loose stuff, that allowed the 92 to kind of drop down the racetrack and get a beautiful, pick up a beautiful draft off the back of the 18. But just like that, here comes the 04 charging hard back on the inside, kind of the reverse trifecta of what we've seen the last time by at the line.
Absolutely. This is a shell game at this point. These guys just rotating around, and this is officially the battle for the lead, as Todd Merkel did have to come down pit road and get some fuel there before he ran out of fuel. But now we're also looking at lap cars. So these guys have been using every inch of this racetrack to try and get by each other. And who's going to be in the lead when they get to the lap car ahead of them? It looks like, who is that? I'll find him here shortly. 76. That is Andrew Miller, a couple laps down. So the leaders are trying to tell him, hey, please stay out of the way, but he is under no obligation to do so. As he does, he stays out of everybody's way as he's going to let this battle continue. But wow, these guys are just trading it. And Barrett Flo, again, he's the one holding the sandwich in the back, trying to wait for his chance to get in here. As Austin Call and Klaus Williams, their trade for first. A new leader, Klaus Williams.
Yeah, just like that, as the fuel cell in Todd Merkel's Ford F-150 was about ready to expire, that's going to move Klaus Williams, like you said, back up to the point as he carries the torch around this racetrack. But the battle now for the lead just got a lot more exciting as these three trucks now advance to the front of the field, and it is an all-out assault as these guys just can't seem to settle it between themselves as these laps continue to wind down. James, you would think that these tires are probably going to start feeling the impacts here of this close, hard racing. Is the 18 now under duress from Barrett Flo as he's working the top side of the racetrack? Who does the 92 go with that could heavily impact the outcome of this battle here as he looks maybe to split the middle?
Yeah, he gets to use the whole racetrack. That's his advantage as being on his own there. But don't look too far back. Joshua Yarbrough is running faster lap times because these guys have been battling up there. They're running 42.30s, 42.26, and Joshua Yarbrough just ran a 42.17. So a tenth faster with 6 laps to go. He's 2 seconds back. He's going to need a little bit more help. But if these guys keep battling, hey, Joshua Yarbrough might be in the perfect spot here. There's a little bit of a battle going on here as the 17 gets into the wall. This seemed to be its own issue, but they are clear. No caution going to come out. As the 92 getting behind the 18, he needs to clear, so he needs to help the 18 get by here.
Yeah, the 92 there always getting a little bit of a side draft there off the 04, and now he's going to give a heavy push to the 18 machine. That's what I'm talking about right there. Two trucks teaming up, working together. With that 04 hanging really tough on the outside, that just no quit in any of these drivers. And as a race car owner, race truck owner, that's what you want to see out there. Never say quit, never say die. But in this instance, that spotter, that crew chief needs to get up on the radio and tell these boys to settle this because, like you said, Yarbrough is closing in quick, fast, in a hurry. That's almost down to a 1.5 second deficit as we're working lap 71.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gaining 0.2 on lap 70. So, very good opportunity here to try and make it. But here's what Barrett Flo ran into. The issue that he ran into, once he passed, he gets up in that side draft, in that dirty air. So, and then the 18, I don't think that was them working together. I think the 18 came down and threw a block, and he said, I'm working with you like it or not. So I think you get 1 or 2 of those with 4 laps to go, but any more, these guys are starting to heat up. They're starting to use the extent of that multitasking that they're able to do. And the 04 has the advantage because he's the only one that took left side tires. And right now, he just wants them to keep battling it out as the 18 and the 92 are not friends right now. They're not wanting to work together. Look at that 18 throwing blocks on the 92. I may be reading that incorrectly, but that's he's throwing some wild blocks there for second.
Yeah, that's certainly what it looks like. And once you take a driver to Block City, he's only going to take so much of that before he deploys the infamous chrome horn. So if I'm the 18 of Austin Call, I got to remember that as a driver because he's only going to lift so many times as he starts to close back up to the back of the tailgate of that 18 machine. Is going to crank it down the racetrack, try to get as much clean air on the front of that truck as he possibly can as they get ready here to rotate into the turn number 1 here, coming off that long straightaway, rolling at 188 miles an hour this deep into the run.
Absolutely. It looks like Klaus Williams trying to keep out an advantage. Popsicle 6 in the air, 2 laps left to go. Austin Call and Barrett Flo working on each other, trying to hook up for a little bump draft. I guess second's better than third as they try and work around the 4. As here they go, taking up all the lanes available. 32 dives to the inside of the 18, trying to get a 2 for 1. He's got to clear the 18 here. Otherwise, they're going to be fighting. It's not going to give the advantage. And it happens again, just stalls out, unable to make it, and that's going to definitely hurt them on the final lap. one more way around, and Klaus Williams is your leader. Austin Call works to the inside. 32 Barrett Flow trying to hold the sandwich, doesn't know where to go here, as it's going to take everything that Austin Call has here to try and get up to Klaus Williams and throw one last side draft, but he throws one more block on the 92, as there they go. This is going to be a battle for second coming to the flag.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle for second coming to the flag, is out front looking for the checker right now, having just a slight advantage. And look who's coming up on the backside. It's not Steve Urkel, it's Todd Merkel. Where did he come from? Is the 04 of William Klaus going to take it to the line? Oh, they wreck going across the grass. That may bump Merkel into the third position, as I'm seeing preliminary on the SDK timing and scoring, as we have a wild finish here as we close out this one here from the Irish Hills of Michigan in the SCL Truck Series. James, that was wild coming to the line.
Oh my gosh, let's take a look while we wait for these drivers to get in the Discord for interviews.
Where did Merkel come from?
He had fresh tires. I don't know. I didn't see him on until the very last. It looks like Tad. There we go. Todd Merkel. He started his moves.
He had to have been flying.
He certainly was. I'm trying to look here. Started about Todd Merkel passed Barrett Flow for second. That was lap 50. There we go. Get the right thing up.
As
they're gonna burn it down. Let's take a look at that checkered flag here, and Austin Call and what he saw.
Yeah, guys, get in the
There goes Todd Merkel. I'll be darned.
I mean, it looked like he had the full military afterburner engaged on that pickup, as he was bringing the mail. If they had one more lap out there on the racetrack, that may have been Todd Merkel's race.
Absolutely.
Especially with the beating and banging that was going on right there.
He was a second. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
He was a second and a half faster than everybody else there at the end of it. So, yeah, he definitely could have came back. If he would have came in a couple laps earlier, maybe, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But let's drag these guys in here. I don't know if I have the ability. I know we're going to talk to, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner first, Klaus Williams. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, it's Claus, yep, like Santa Claus.
There we go. So, got the win. I saw you battling. You kind of played bridesmaid there for a second, but what was it like to get out front and start gapping those two battling behind you?
Those two are great racers, so they usually gap me, so it's great to beat them.
Absolutely. And a really good points day for you. I know you're not in the running, it seems, but this is definitely gonna help out your case to come into the league and kind of show them what for. Tell me about that battle in the end and the white knuckle last 10 laps there.
Well, my truck got really tight at the end. I was pushing up, almost hitting the wall, but I saw those two were loose. So it was a great battle. Almost hit the wall a couple times coming out of two, but just try to keep it clean and have some fun racing.
Absolutely. It looked fun. I cannot deny that. Tell me, what do you got on that beautiful Ford machine, and who you want to shout out today?
Well, shout out to beardmotorsports.org. They're my race team that I run in another league. But I work for AutoNation Ford, so shout out to them.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the win, Klaus, and hopefully we will see you next week in the same position.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right. That was Klaus Williams. And I believe, Matt, you have Austin Call.
Austin Call, Matt Metler up in the SRM booth. You got me, buddy.
Yeah.
That was some of the most thrilling racing I have ever seen in Michigan in a truck in quite some time, Austin. You were in the middle of a dogfight there. Walk me through the last 10 laps of that race.
I was mostly just fighting with Klaus and watching the relative between us and Todd go down further and further and further until it was literally nothing coming across the line. I don't really know what Barrett was doing. I don't know if I got up into him or something, but that was probably the best fight I've had in this league ever, and probably the best race I've seen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if I wasn't out there on the track racing with you guys, I'm glad I was up here in the booth getting a bird's eye view of just watching that insane battle out there on the racetrack. Todd, Austin, you come up just a little bit short on this one. And I don't know if you noticed, but Todd Merkel looked like he had a 200 shot of nitrous that he was just laying on catching you guys as he was able to get third at the line. Were you aware that he was coming that fast?
Oh yeah, that was I was just watching. Sorry, I was watching that gap close and close. We were in a Discord server together, and he said he was going to stay out till he burned the fuel out, and then he finally came in with took 4, and then he was gone. And Justin Lewis was keeping me updated with how the relative was, and I mean that was stressful.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that felt like. Those last 10 laps had to have felt like an eternity for you.
Yeah, I was white knuckle the entire time, so I gotta go rest my hands after this for a little while. Go watch some college basketball. But yeah, I was really rooting for Todd to win that race because I knew by the time it was about 2 laps to go that Klaus had better tires than me, and I wasn't gonna get him. And I was just hoping that Todd would get there somehow, and he was just a little bit short.
Well, Austin, like I said, that was one of the greatest dogfights I've ever seen here in a long time at Michigan. And you know what? With those older tires, you definitely put up a heck of a battle there up front. Battling against Klaus Williams. That was a battle for the ages. Before we cut you loose here, who helps you get it done week in and week out on that 18 Silverado?
Well, definitely my my parents, especially my parents and my little brother, they let me do this stuff all the time. My grandma, she was watching tonight, and almost didn't because I forgot to send her the link for a while. And then obviously that Discord server, especially Todd and Justin, they are great teammates to have on here. I think we also had Michael Accord, and a few other guys. Like for some reason can't remember their names at the moment because I'm just blinking. But no, it's a great group of guys we got here, and it's very fun to race.
Yeah, I'll say very fun to race. There he is, the Rocket Man. Austin Call comes up just a little bit short here in the 18 Silverado here tonight. James, back to you.
Absolutely. Let's get on board here and talk to our third place finisher, the slingshot, Todd Merkel. Tell me about your run and just how close were you there at the end?
Well, if there was one more lap in that race, I think I'd have won it. So, yeah, it was close. But, yeah, I had a really, really good time tonight. I played a big move by staying out, hoping for that yellow flag. I mean, if there was any caution in the last 25 laps of that race, I wind up winning it pretty easily. And shit, I almost did anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was an issue there. Austin Call and Barrett Flo were battling in front of you, but the way it worked out, you still got a top 5. You got third and a really good points day, given that Chris Myers had a bad night. Ryan Grubb not here, so definitely a good run for you. Who gets it done on that 2 machine? And tell me about that paint job.
Well, the paint on this is based on the engine building company that my brother and I run out of Long Island, New York. We do all kinds of stock car engines, drag race engines, offshore marine stuff. And then I also get a little help on my real race car from Ross Pistons, Liberty's Gears, and Driven Racing Oil in everything I own.
Absolutely. So good shout out there, Todd. Well, again, congratulations on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. And I appreciate the SCL League and you guys doing such a great job with these broadcasts. Fantastic.
Absolutely, Todd. I appreciate it. As that is going to do it for us, Matt, let's go ahead and run through our final results here, and then we will let everybody go enjoy their what is today, Wednesday night, as we get of course, our feature winner, Klaus Williams. And then we have Austin Call and Todd Merkel rounding out your top 3. Barrett Flo just barely gets outside the top 3. I'm sure he's going to talk with Austin Call after that one. Joshua Yarborough in 5th. Tillman Hauer in 6th. Michael Accord 7th. William Mann is in 8th. Jonathan Casebeer in 9th. David Hanna there in 10th. And I believe you've got the rest of them, Matt.
Yeah, I'll bring you the rest of the way home here through the finishing order. In 11th, Justin Lewis. 12th belongs to Greg Burstich. 13th, Chris Myers, who caught up in multiple rounds of trouble there early on and just couldn't seem to rebound like he'd hoped to. 14th, Andrew Miller. 15th, that's going to be Michael Mata. In 16th, that's going to be Steve Cigars. And in 17th, not myself on the racetrack. I'm up in the booth, and that means your final finishing tonight in 18th. That's going to be the 4 of Matt Kujat.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the heck out of you. If you're still watching, be sure to hit that like button, all that good stuff. Help us out. And of course, appreciation one last time for Don's Automotive, Don's Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac there in Wausau. I'm pronouncing it wrong, Ohio. So folks, as always, hopefully we'll talk to you next week.